Final preview of the day, folks. Boy, there's a lot of rugby on this weekend. Argentina and England. Surely you can lock in Argentina for a win here because Argentina always split their series, at least in recent times. Last year with France, loss-win. Last year with New Zealand, win-loss. Australia, loss-win. South Africa, win-loss. They lost the first one against England. Surely that is time to bounce back with a win in San Juan. We will go through the squads which have been named, some of the stats and predictions, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on how it is going to go. Argentina don't have a good record against England, though. That might also break their pattern as well, because 35-12 last week was disappointing, to say the least, from an Argentinian point of view. For an English squad without their Lions, with George Ford in his 100th pulling the strings, it was a pretty sweet outing. The Argentinians have bolstered the squad, I feel, with Gajo getting a start at loose head. Love seeing that guy around the park. He will add a bit of punch from the start. Montoya is there as the regular guy in the number 2 jersey. English fans will be very familiar with him with all this time spent in the Premiership. And then Cordella comes in at tight head. He is an absolute veteran, getting very long in the tooth, but probably the rock that stabilizes the tight head position of that Argentinian scrum. Petty is also a veteran to add into the second row. He finished the season with Bordeaux alongside Rubiolo. So it is a hard-hitting Rubiolo, although he missed a few tackles last week with the skills guy Petty. And then Grodona gets promoted from the bench, where he's been in the 19 jumper as kind of the lock replacement as a more usual loose forward with this one number 6. Juan Martin Gonzalez is at 7. And then Pablo Matera, who I believe in this game becomes the most capped Puma of all time, clearing the record with Augustin Crevi out on his own, is at number 8. So big congratulations to him. That is a massive, massive achievement. Benitez Cruz is getting the nod at number 9, which is a interesting shift for a guy who is relatively inexperienced, alongside Carreras at 10. I'm not sure what has happened to Albanoz at the moment. He played against the Lions, but we've not seen him in the squad against England yet. Maybe he is being rested ahead of the Rugby Championship, because he did kind of take the number 10 jersey for his own last year to become the first choice for Contepomi there. Picardo and Cinti, the midfield, is stable. Mendy comes in on the left wing. This will be, his second or third game for the Argentinians. He's been pretty exciting when we have seen him out on their left wing. Very attacking-minded player. And then Moroni, more of a midfielder, the veteran out on the right wing. Certainly not the pure pace guy, but maybe defensively sound on the right wing. And then Alizard is there at 15, got his debut last week. He continues on at fullback. Bernasconi, Vivas, and Delgado as the front row replacements. So Vivas drops to the bench, swapping roles with Gajo. Paulos also drops to the bench. Issa drops to the bench. Issa perhaps adds a bit of punch if you're looking for a guy to batter some tired legs. Benjamin Grondona is in the 21 jumper. He'll be making his debut alongside Augustin Mojano in the 22. And then Nicolas Rogier is there in the 23 jumper. So 6-2 split for the Argentinians ahead of this match against England. For England, very, very stable from Steve Borthwick. He's changed Luke Northmore in for Henry Slade at 13, because apparently Slade has got a broken hand. That's pretty much it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Baxter, George, and Hayes continue on. I really hope Theo Dan gets more minutes than like the 5 he got last week. I've been banging on this drum for a long time. But 35-12, I feel like was comfortable enough that he could have brought Theo Dan off earlier, or on earlier. But, Jamie Georges was the captain and tackling the house down, so I guess he didn't want to put any unnecessary risk out there. Yules and Coles, same locks. Ben Curry, Sam Underhill, Tom Willis. Tom Willis was a man possessed last week, tackling and busting tackles and whatnot. You've certainly got some good loosies in England. Spencer and George Ford continue on the 9-10 combo. George Ford, how many kicks did he have last week? I think I wrote a note. 27? It was a lot. So, yeah. Pulling the strings, drop goal, just bossing the team around the park. Yeah, he looked pretty good, didn't he? Seb Atkinson and Northmore is a pretty inexperienced midfield, though, at the opposite end of the scale. So they'll need George Ford directing them around the paddock. But, Seb Atkinson is another one of the guys who tackled the house down last week in a big defensive shift. And congrats to Northmore for getting his debut at 13. Roebuck on the right wing and Will Muir. Roebuck certainly got the lion's share of the wide ball last week. And Freddie Stewart there at fullback gets a chance with all the Lions guys out. to kind of stake his claim for that England 15 jumper, which he had kind of fallen out of favour of in recent times. Theo Dan, Bevan Rod, Asher Pokafajor, the same front row replacements as last week. Cunningham, South and Guy Pepper are still there. Don Brandt, Van Portfleet and Murley, so it is still the 6-2 split for England. Stats-wise for these teams last week, Argentina had the possession, they had the territory, but 22 turnovers conceded. It means you're not making the most of all that possession that you had, and their tackle percentage was 79. Like, for context, Super Rugby teams are well in the 80s, albeit that's not test level, but you ain't going to win many games falling off kind of 1 in 5 tackles. England, for contrast, had 200 plus tackles and were at 90%, which is proper test class level and gonna get you a win like that where you only concede 12 points. Plus, they kicked 41 times. As I said in the preview for that game, we assumed England would put a fair bit of boot to ball, and so it turned out. Recent history between the sides, England is pretty dominant. Just the one win in the last 5 for the Argentinians back in 2022, and that was a one-pointer. Argentina would love to get a win here, and their bouncing around form does suggest that it is time for them to fire up because they were favourites last week. Do they get a bit of a firing up now that they are potentially underdogs? Well, are they underdogs? The bookies still say Argentina by 2, and the Rugby Forecast algorithm still says Argentina by 2. It's a late afternoon kickoff, 4:40 for you guys in San Juan, which is a morning kickoff for those of us here in NZ. I think that should be kind of a nighttime kickoff for you guys in the UK as well, so not a bad time all round, really. Angus Gardner, the Aussie, is the ref. You guys let us know your thoughts. Do the Pumas continue their routine of bouncing back after disappointing losses, or do you think England, with the old heads of Ben Spencer and George Ford, are able to boss the team once again for another week? If you want England Rugby gear, have a look down at the description. England Rugby store. I bought this jacket and this hat from them last year, so certainly some good deals on the go. I like the jacket because it's not white, and I don't have to worry about getting like soy sauce on it and not having to kind of use stain remover. I suppose I'd still have to use stain remover if I got this one dirty. It's been a long day, folks. So many rugby previews, but this is it. You guys take care of yourselves, and we will look forward to some rugby this weekend. Take care, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.